Alright, today I'm gonna show you guys something that I purchased a while back, and I'm gonna start a new series. It's called the Revisiting series, and the first one I'm gonna show you guys is Mark III by Hot Toys, and this came out back in 2008. As you can see, it's by Hot Toys and Movie Masterpiece series, and this is the Mark III, the original Mark III. And back then, the packaging, they actually spent a lot more money and time on the packaging than what they do now. Here you can see a lot of pictures of the Mark III, and then we also have a Mark I and a Mark II. And let's see, it does show this came out back in 2008. So yeah. There it is. There's the front, and if you open the magnetic flap front, here you see his inner workings of Mark III with the arc reactor chest piece, and then on the inside flap here you see Iron Man Mark III, a couple of pictures of the figure, and then here's a little info. Collector's Edition MMS 75. Wow, that's a long time ago. And then here on the second flap, see people that worked on this figure. And then here on the side here shows more of the inner workings of the chest piece for Mark III. And here's where the figure's housed, and basically this whole cover, it's hard cardboard, and it wraps around the whole box itself. And here you can see a picture of the Mark III right there. And one last look at the front of the box. You could definitely tell they spend money on this, on the packaging, on just a regular figure. And this cost about I think it cost about 150 bucks back then. So yeah, so let's open up and show you what the figure looks like again. Alright, and here's everything you get from this figure. You get the Iron Man figure, the circular base, 4 extra hands. We have these 2 relaxed hands, and then I guess repulsor blast hands, and it comes attached with a fist. And then here's the head sculpt for Robert Downey Jr. And as you can see back then, head sculpts weren't that good, and the paint job wasn't that great either. You could definitely tell by the skin tone that this head sculpt has. And nowadays you would think this is a knockoff, but back then this was created by Hot Toys. So let's start off by looking at the figure itself, and then after that I will tell you guys about the inaccuracies and all the other stuff, and how I still feel about this figure after all these years. And yeah, so there is the front view of the figure, and then here we have a side view. Here's the back view, Mark III. I do believe this came out before the Mark I, so this should be the very first Iron Man figure by Hot Toys. And back to the front. So let's get a closer look at the head sculpt. And as far as an Iron Man is concerned, the helmet shape is a little off. I think it's a little off. From the front it looks kind of alright, because I've seen photos where he kind of looks like that. But if you look at him from the side, you can definitely tell it's a little caved in a little bit, especially the face mask area, or it could be the forehead section, I'm not quite sure, but there is something off about this helmet there. And then the paint job on this figure itself, it looks like it's molded out of that particular color of plastic, so it doesn't look as if it's made out of metal. It just looks like a plastic figure. And then the abdominal area, as you can see, it's it's layered with a softer rubber material, and you can see the color difference between the chest area, which is made out of hard plastic, and the abdominal area, which is made out of a softer type of rubber around it. And same thing with the crotch area. The crotch piece is it's also a softer type of material. And so yeah, you can definitely see the color difference between the two. And the lower legs, nothing wrong with these. I think they turned out great. And but as far as the paint job, it's nice, but it does look very plasticky. And there's the back side, and there are flaps that opens up. And here on the back, you can see there are flaps that open. And then batteries are housed, 3 of them in the middle section right here. And then I believe there are 2 on the bicep area, and 2 over here as well. I mean the triceps. And there's the rest of them, and I think these can be open as well. Here you go. Open those flaps and see the inner workings of the Iron Man Mark III. Kind of cool. And here on the forearm section, you can actually open up these panels to review the rockets that are underneath. Nicely done. And here in this section right here, you can see there's a rubber piece around it, and there's a color difference between the hard plastic and the rubber piece. Definitely tell from this shot right here. And the guard over the hand is also made out of softer rubber. And these other, since this is the repulsor blast hand, back then they didn't put the socket joint at an angle, so when you try to give him repulsor blast hand, he's gonna look a little weird because can't really point it straight at you. It's actually pointing downwards, and if you want him to point straight out, then you have to raise his arm quite a bit more. And for the Mark III, there's a switch back here underneath the flap, and then forearm section, there's the switch, and once you turn it on, there you can see the ones on his back will light up the eyes and the arc reactor chest piece, and then the tricep section will light up the hand. So yeah, there he is, all lit up. And the reason why the lights still works for mine is because I took them out a long time ago, and right now I'm just putting in new batteries just to show you guys what he looks like all lit up. And yeah, and when you're buying this brand new, the batteries were already inside the figure, which is a really bad thing for a toy company to do, because corrosion, and it's gonna destroy your electronics. So that's why it's not good to have batteries already housed inside the figure. And nowadays they start putting the batteries outside in a separate little compartment. So even when you even if you don't plan on buying this figure from a store in like down the line, maybe 2 or 3 years, you could still be sure that the electronics will still work. And here's what Iron Man looks like with the Tony Stark head sculpt. As you can see, the head sculpt, it's pretty poor compared to what we are getting nowadays. And there's the helmet right there. So back then my expectation wasn't as high as nowadays, and I was pretty okay with this head sculpt back then. But nowadays, if you compare it to the new ones, which I'll show in a second, you could definitely tell this is a far inferior head sculpt than what we're getting now. Oh yeah. Alright, and here we have two head sculpts, both Robert Downey Jr. One is from, the one on the left is based off of Iron Man 2, and the one on the right is based off of Iron Man 1, and the one on the left is the latest Hot Toys creation, and the one on the right is back at 2008. As you can see, you could definitely tell a whole lot of difference between the two. Skin tone's a lot better. The texturing on the Tony Stark head sculpt is far superior than what we had back then at 2008. And the detailing and everything, it's a lot better. Even the hairstyle's a little better. Yeah, the way they sculpted the hair is a little bit better, and paint job definitely a lot better. Yeah, so you could definitely tell the difference between the two. One from 2015 and one from 2008. And this is the only Mark III I have so far. I never did get the Battle Damage Mark III because of the colors they use for that Iron Man, and I think that one is even skinnier than this one. This one has a skinny waist, and I think the other one also has a skinny waist, but it's more noticeable somehow for the other one. And this one, the color of the armor is dead on to what they have in the film, while the other one is more of a candy red, which it's very bright. It is which is very inaccurate to how he looked in the film. And to show you the difference, here I have a piece of the memorabilia off of the Iron Man 3, off of the Iron Man Mark III. As you could kind of see, it's more in line with this color. It's almost exactly the same as this color, while the newer ones is very bright red, which is I mean, the other one, the Battle Damage one, is very inaccurate as far as the red is concerned. So that's why I never bothered to purchase the Battle Damage Mark III. But with the new die-cast one coming out, hopefully, from photos that we have seen, the color is also off. But hopefully they'll change that. If not, I'm still gonna get it because the sculpting on that armor is definitely more accurate than this one, and that is a die-cast, so I don't mind getting a die-cast of Mark III, because this is one of my favorite armor. My ultimate favorite one, it's Mark 1, and second would be Mark III. So I'm happy with this figure, and after so many years, I still enjoy this figure quite a lot, and I do take a lot of photos with this, with the Hall of Armor and everything. So this is a must-have if you're an Iron Man collector, and if you don't already have this version, there is a die-cast coming, so you might want to jump on that one in order to have a Mark III armor. And yeah, so far I am still enjoying this figure quite a lot. And even though articulation on this is pretty bad, because there's absolutely no articulation around the waist or the hips. I mean, the waist and the chest area, there's nothing, almost nothing. There's no movement whatsoever. I guess it's the way they did it back then. But you do get the shoulders and the arms and the wrists and the hips and the thighs and everything else is good, but you won't be able to do a ground pounding pose with this Mark III here. But overall, I do still like it, and paying this guy at 150 back then was really high in my opinion. But nowadays there are what, almost 300 bucks for an Iron Man figure, and so yeah, that's quite a jump from back at 2008. Alright, so this is not really a good comparison because this is the Heartbreaker is totally different as far as the design of the armor. It's totally different, and it's based off of a totally different movie. This was Iron Man 3, this was Iron Man 1. But you do notice that he is a lot shorter back then, and the armor for the Heartbreaker is a lot taller. And I know that the red is totally different, and but still, I mean, yeah, I do really like this color a lot, and it is the most accurate that I've seen. I've seen the actual prop for the Iron Man Mark III, the chest piece and the arm, I think, at Disney, and yeah, and it does look more like this than the apple red that they did for the Battle Damage Mark III. So yeah, there you go. There's my reverse revisiting video for my Iron Man Mark III by Hot Toys. Thanks for watching.